Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we'll be going over an introduction of the AZ400 certification. The Azure DevOps Engineer Expert is an expert-level Microsoft certification. For the prerequisites, you must earn at least one of the following: the Microsoft Certified Azure Administrator Associate, or the Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate. The key topics covered in this course: design and implement processes and communications, such as GitHub Flow and Azure Boards. Design and implement traceability and flow of work. Configure collaboration and communication. Design and implement a source control strategy such as branching strategies, pull request workflows. Design and implement build and release pipelines. Design and implement a package management strategy like GitHub Packages. Develop a security and compliance plan. And implement an instrumentation strategy like Azure Monitor and Log Analytics. So, who is this certification for? The certification is designed for individuals who are interested in learning how to design and implement DevOps practices for continuous integration, continuous delivery, and infrastructure as code. You may consider this certification if you are new to DevOps and want to learn the fundamentals and benefits of DevOps practices. You are a software developer, systems administrator, or IT professional. You want to understand the capabilities of Azure DevOps and GitHub, including building pipelines, implementing source control strategies, and managing security and compliance. You are a senior DevOps engineer or in a related role who needs to reset or refresh your knowledge after working for multiple years. So, what's the Azure DevOps Engineer Expert roadmap like? Well, the most common route that people take to reach the DevOps Engineer Expert is to start at the Azure Fundamentals. It's not mandatory, but it helps build a solid foundation. Then you take the Azure Developer Associate for designing, building, testing Azure applications, and eventually take the Azure DevOps Engineer Expert. Another common path is to take the Azure Administrator Associate and then the Azure Solutions Architect. You can also take the Azure Solutions Architect after the DevOps Engineer Expert to further enhance your Microsoft Azure skills and widen your career prospects. Other popular associate-level certifications may include the Azure AI Engineer, Azure Database Administrator, and the Azure Security Engineer, and many more. So that's a general outlook on the roadmap to Azure DevOps Engineer Expert. How long to study to pass? For beginners, so if you've never used Microsoft Azure or any cloud provider, have no prior experience with DevOps practices, or no tech background or experience, you're looking at around 30 hours. If you're experienced with Microsoft Azure or any cloud providers, have experience with DevOps practices and tools, and have a strong background in technology, you're looking at about 10 hours. The average study time is about 20 hours. You should dedicate around 50% of the time to lecture and labs, and 50% of the time to practice exams. We recommended to study around 1 to 2 hours a day for 20 days. What does it take to pass the exam? Watch video lecture and memorize key information. Do hands-on labs and follow along within your own account. Do paid online practice exams that simulate the real exam. Sign up and redeem your free practice exam. Exam guide, content outline. The exam has a total of 5 domains. Each domain has its own weighting. This determines how many questions in a domain that will show up. Skills measured: design and implement processes and communications. Design and implement a source control strategy. Design and implement build and release pipelines, which consists of 50 to 55% of the course. Develop a security and compliance plan. Implement an instrumentation strategy. Where do you take the exam? You can take the exam at an in-person test center or online from the convenience of your own home. You can use Certiport or Pearson VUE. At Proctor is a supervisor or person who monitors students during an examination. The passing grade is about 700 out of 1,000. You need to get around 70% to pass. Microsoft uses scaled scoring. There are about 50 to 55 questions. You can afford to get roughly 12 to 14 questions wrong. There is no penalty for wrong questions. Format of questions: multiple choice, multiple answer, drag and drop, yes and no. Keep in mind that there's usually one lab with about 8 questions that you do on the Azure portal, and the exam is open book, but you can only access the Microsoft documentation as the resource. The exam duration is 2 hours. You get about 2 minutes per question. Exam time is 120 minutes. Seat time is 150 minutes. Seat time refers to the amount that you should allocate for the exam. It includes time to review instructions, show online Proctor your workspace, read and accept NDA, complete the exam, provide feedback at the end. The certification is valid for 1 year. You can renew the certification for free within 6 months or before the expiration date. So that's an introduction to the Azure DevOps Engineer Expert certification.